I'm Blandine Umurerwa. I'm turning 23 years old this year. Um, I'm a current graduate of the University of KwaZulu-Natal. I did become accounting. I'm still contemplating on whether or not to do my postgraduate diploma in accounting or just carry on with what I'm doing. So I'm still praying about that. I'm a Christian. I was born and raised Christian in a Christian home. My interest, I like reading, I like watching documentaries, crime documentaries to be specific. Um, the FBI, CIA stuff, that's my niche. Um, I like staying indoors. I live in Durban. I've lived in Durban for most of my life. After we came from Rwanda, I'm a refugee, by the way. So we came from Rwanda. We settled here in Durban, and when I say I like staying indoors, I mean I like staying indoors. I can literally count how many times I've been to Shaka on one hand, and I live right next to Shaka. So yeah. My hobbies, I think interest in hobbies, same different. I think I like to sleep a lot. I think that's a hobby, maybe. But rest is important. Rest is critical in one's life. LeBlanc, thank you so much for this. It's amazing. And just listening to those who went before me, you and Brian, I'm inspired. I'm ready to get up and shake the world with my value, of course. Yeah, so you guys are amazing, man. Also, I would like to use Brian's line. Everything I say here is of my own experience. Um, Please don't go and quote me and say Blandine said no. Don't quote me. So yeah, um, I'll be speaking on in um in a nutshell. Everything that I'll be speaking on will be on identity, passion, and focus, and in that order specifically. And I'll obviously use my life to to speak on this. So um navigating through primary, I'm a bubbly person and I make friends easily. Not friends, let me not abuse that word. I gravitate towards people easily, or people gravitate towards me easily. But with that, there would be a crowd around me, yet no real connections or no real friendships come out of that. I don't know if I make sense, but there's nothing. Everything just finishes at face value. So yeah, all I remember in primary is that from grade 5, I wanted to do EMS. Anything economics and management science, I think. Yeah, anything to do with EMS, I was down for it. I didn't connect with anything else. Um, so as long as it had something to do with EMS, I didn't know what EMS was about, but I knew that that was where I would be going. Fast forward, there was xenophobic attacks that happened in my primary school days. I think I was in grade 6 or grade 7. So xenophobic attacks broke out here in Durban. I think in other cities too, but I live in Durban, so I'll talk about Durban. And I remember not going to school for a while to protect myself from, the xenophobic attacks. But I also took the opportunity to extend my holiday at home, and I used the attacks as an excuse, And when I got back to school, the teachers were angry because I was one of the smart kids that they used to give answers in the class. When I'm absent, the answers sort of like come slowly. So the teachers were annoyed, and the principal gave me a lecture about being absent and whatnot, and he went on about that. And I saw that as much as I was justified, a little justified, in my absence, because I mean the xenophobic attacks were critical and I did not want to lose my life. So I was justified in staying at home. I was staying away from these things. But he said I shouldn't use such things as an excuse, because it could be detrimental. I could have missed so many opportunities. just because I used my circumstances as an excuse. I should always try to find a way out, and it was possible for me to find a way out, but I I used the excuse as an opportunity. So yeah, that preached to me. And fast forward, we went to high school. There was also xenophobic attacks that broke out. And I remember going to school during the xenophobic attacks and nothing happened to me. I went to school and I risked my tongue got tied. I risked my life and went to school. And we were writing that day, and my brother decided not to go to school. My dad was actually like, "No, you guys shouldn't go to school." And I didn't go to school. I mean, I did go to school. My brother didn't go to school. And at that point, I was justified. Mm. All right. At that point, I would have been justified in staying home, but I went to school because I was convicted from my primary school days not to use my circumstances as an excuse. Or my excuse as an opportunity. So yeah, I went to school and we were writing, and um, yeah, that was the message. So identity, I'm a foreigner in South Africa. I'm a female black foreigner in South Africa. uh yeah, I don't think it gets any worse than that, does it? but but then again, we don't use our circumstances as an excuse, so we move. Knowing my identity, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday, and we're talking about how do you what do you now recognize yourself as, or how do you identify yourself? Because with me, it's easy. I was born in Rwanda, so I know I am a Rwandan foreigner in South Africa. I can citizen at home, or when I do go home, or if. But I have my little sister who was born here, and she's Rwandan for documents. But if we go, she was born, does she identify as, you know? So we're talking about finding your identity outside what society says, what society labels you as, what what the government says you are, your essence, your real essence. And so finding your identity is the biggest I think it's the first step. It's the first step. And Brian was talking about knowing value, know how to differentiate between an opportunity and exploitation. And I think for you to know your value, you need to know yourself first. You need to know your identity. And when you know your identity, you will know how to run your race because you know where you are going. You know where you're coming from, and you know where you are going. Instagram, I had to get off Instagram because it was eating at my soul, in the sense that I would look at others and I would look at me, and I start comparing. Instagram is from hell. Please don't record that part of the. Just cut that part out. I don't want nobody coming. I don't want Mark Zuckerberg coming for me. I do not have the money to find him. Anyway, so I saw myself comparing, and down. I was looking at myself, and the people that I'm comparing myself with, we are not the same. Our stories are not the same. So I should not be comparing myself with them. Life is different for everybody else, and we should be navigating it differently. We shouldn't even be reaching a point where we compare. I have ingredients cake, a chocolate cake, but I'm looking at somebody else's vanilla muffins, and I'm like, muffins getting ready now, but my chocolate cake is not getting ready. First, a cake is really, it will more work that cake. So I should be able to run. I know nothing about baking, by the way, but I was just painting the picture. I mean, I was just painting a picture of the differences we have. so that you know how to run your own race, know who you are, and then we steal from Brian and say, your value, so that you know how to run your own race. I couldn't have been out here looking at and being like, wow, they doing amazing. I'm doing become accounting. I have no business comparing myself to the doctor. So yeah, which I'm gonna bring back later on when I'm speaking. So we move on to passion, and then code Brian, knowing your value. Mm, I found my passion at a young age. I knew it had something to do with money. I think money is everybody's passion, but yeah, I knew it had everything to do with accounting. It was around that. I did not um I did not concern myself with things of biology or geography, which I suck at, because I know that is not my niche, you know. I was having a conversation with someone yesterday, and I said the Lord knew what He was doing when He did not give me the voice to sing, because I would sing everything, you know. And what He gave me is what I'm going to use in navigating through life. So when you find what you're interested in, when you find what you're good at, focus on that and master that skill. We see Beyonce going and performing and doing 5 performances or changing into 5 outfits in one and we are looking and we're like, oh, I want to be like her. But are you ready to put in the work and the sleepless nights that she put in? Yeah, her and her sisters, or her and her sister and her friend, by their dad, they used to make them sing while running the most. I can't even speak. I can't even run. We get hopeless of singing while running. So when I'm here thinking I want to be like Beyonce, are you ready to go through what Beyonce went through for her to get to where she is? So master your own skill. And for what do with what you have. Do with what you have. And then it's got identity. You think this is the biggest one. You won't get here if you don't pass if you don't know identity and fail to come to focus. Taking a high school child and putting a child into university without them knowing who they are, whew, and then they have the residence life, and they're coming from home where they had a curfew. My curfew was to residence, and I'm in my own room. I've got my own allowance, and parents. But parents raised me in a Christian home, and I knew who I was before I got there. So 6 o'clock, you'll see me. If I'm not at the library and I'm not at home, then I'm not, to rest. I'm going to sleep because that's something that was in me. Yes, my parents are not around, and God is watching. I'm going back home to sleep. Focus. Those you are coming. You're going to university to study. You're going to work to work. You whatever wherever you are going. We were at church was it yesterday? We were at church yesterday, and the pastor was like, keep the main thing. You are there for a purpose, and so focus on that. In that way, when you fall, and life does that, when you fall forward, you fall. I don't know if that makes sense, but you fall in a way where when when friends would come and they'd be like, let's go to Florida Road, or let's go to, I don't even know where's Florida Road, by the way. Let's go to Paz. I'd be like, let me first tell my dad. They'd be like, no, you don't have, you don't have to. If I don't tell my dad that I'm going to Paz and he knows I am supposed to be at rest and something happens to us at Paz, how do I begin to explain to my dad? Or how will my parents even know where to find my body if they need to bury it? Do you see how the choice you make have so many repercussions? So focus wherever you are. Focus. Keep the main thing. The main when you fall forward and for you to rise back up. I fell so many times. My dad wanted me to study medicine and I went to study accounting and I failed so many times. I did my third year 3 times. And the first time it was so difficult for me to come home and tell them I failed something that I chose, something that I wanted to do. But because I was honest with them and I let them in on my struggle, I let them in on this is what I'm going through at the moment. This is the emotional uh, turmoil I'm going through at the moment. When I came home and I told them I failed, they were able to understand better because they knew what I was doing. I was doing whatever I was doing. So yeah, and pruning, a lot of pruning needs to happen. I don't know if you guys understand what pruning is. When you take a when you are I don't want to say raising, I forgot the English word. But when you plant a flower and it's growing, moments where you have to come back and start chipping off stuff that are not supposed to be on that flower. Yeah, that you need to cut your I don't want to use the word friend because it'll be an abuse of the word. Know how to let people go so that you can grow. Know how to cut your circle. Know when you are in the wrong place. I think Brian shared on this. Know when you are in the wrong place. As a woman, you need to when to not take disrespect. I was walking with my friend last night on the I don't want to say on the streets because that sounds wrong. It sounds wrong, but we went to take to order takeout last night, and as we were passing, I mean, my friends and I are beautiful, man. But yeah, as we were passing, the men on some hello CC, and they were looking at us with those yeah, guys, I think you'll understand what I'm trying to say. And I'm more quiet. Yeah, I talk a lot, but I'm not very confrontational. I don't want to start up with someone who's gonna beat me to a pulp. So I'm quiet and just calling them out in the moment. I'm not that brave. I'm not that brave. Um where was I going with this? What was I going with this? But anyway, she called it out in the moment because she's strong like that. I'm not strong like that. And as women, we need to know our value and we need to know when to cut off men in our lives uh promoting such behavior. And if a man keeps quiet in the face of injustice, even a woman, when you keep quiet in the face of injustice, you're taking the side of the perpetrator. So you need to call it out there and then. Who are around us, our fathers, our brothers, friends. Even Michelle Obama was talking about how she's 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 got such a strong character and whatnot because she had a very supportive and she had a very strong support structure from her father and her brother. So the men in her life were strong and they protected her, and that contributed to who she is today. So it doesn't end by just a woman being strong and not taking crap from anyone, but the men around also need to lead by example. They need to be strong for the women around them. So that's, that's my journey. So that's all I had to say. What am I doing now? I'm running a non-profit organization called Bird Rights After Graduation, and it is basically focused on helping refugee students navigate through their academic life, even their academic life, also after their academic life. getting into the corporate world. So and it doesn't just end at the academic and corporate life, but also the social aspects and knowing how to navigate through being a foreigner, being a foreigner here in South Africa. And that's pretty much it. If there's any questions or anything, put them to LeBlanc. I'm joking. Can ask.
Yes, Blandine. So tell us uh what is the difficulties that you have first, or what how can I tell you what difficulties that you have first as a foreign founder in South Africa, as you came from Rwanda and your studies you have been facing a lot. So what is happening? What difficulties or anything that you are facing as a woman founder in South Africa? Tell us how you run your program.
Mm, mm. Very, very important question. Um, the difficult, just like I said, with my primary incident where the principal was like, "Don't use your excuses as an opportunity." That's how I took it. There's many challenges such as registering in NPO as a foreigner. Yeah, there you need to have what they call it, networking, and you need to know how to find information. You're talking about how everybody that is here you met on LinkedIn, get up and find the information. YouTube literally teaches you how to cook. I think I can fly a plane with YouTube even. But yeah, information is all over, so get informed. You spoke about doing courses here and there. I i also did courses on Udemy on how to work with people, because you know uh, I did a course on leadership and management also, because I'm going to be working with people. And the biggest challenge I've faced, besides every other thing that can be sorted out when you research properly and actually get down to reading and listening, the biggest challenge I've faced, and everybody here, I I am going to take a leap of faith and say you guys have faced this, is loyalty. Finding people who are loyal. When you find those, hold on to them. I'm still struggling trying to find a team that is loyal and has integrity. I'm not talking about, don't gossip about me or um I don't know. I'm not talking about those little stuff, but I'm talking about being able to defend the idea even in my absence. I don't have to call you, uh, dude. You need to say this and this here and there. No, you need to have it in you to know what to say and what not to say, uh, in order for you to protect the idea of brag build right after graduation. It is very difficult to find, because it's a non-profit organization. It's difficult to find people who are here not just to receive but to yeah, the most challenging part is finding people with integrity, and those who are loyal not just to me but to the idea itself. So, and a lot of pruning had to happen, a lot of cutting. Don't on integrity, cut out, because in the long run you are hurting yourself. We are raising children that we are going um touch something so deep. That sent out into the corporate world. The struggle I faced with my female students is that failure involved, and some of them are victims of this. We need to also counseling organizations to help with these female students. Now, I cannot take a child that is already, as much as we are looking at their academics, we're also looking at private lives, who's facing that and then and then send her to a man whose integrity I, so loyalty and integrity is such a huge thing. Besides the fun, um besides the connections or the people who are willing to give the student jobs, integrity, sending out a child and hearing that they got molested by someone you trusted is huge. So I think that's the biggest challenge I'm facing now. And by God's grace, because you can't really vouch for a human being. Human beings are decipherable. Yeah, I wouldn't even know how to start with, unless I'm gonna put a camera on every day. I wouldn't know how to. So yeah, I hope I answered you there.
Yes, thank you so much, Blandine. That was really informative. I learned a lot from this and amazing work that you are doing with other people as a foreigner in South Africa, and all your initiative is really amazing. I believe that there is some foreigners who actually attended this meeting and they are here together with us. And as a foreigner in a country, you know very well that people face many difficulties. So, as a founder in Prague, how would you help these people? Like, if anyone in this meeting is facing similar problem, how would you help them in your organization? And how would they contact you, or how can they join your community in Prague?
Wonderful, wonderful question. When you were asking that question, it just reminded me of a conversation I had with my brother the other day, and he was like, um, "I hate listening to motivation speakers because they tell you to, and you're ready to start, but to start what, you know?" So when you say when you ask that question, I remembered his words, and I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I just did now, but I did. So brag is, yeah, it's basically a community. We are trying to have everybody start something and help you with starting your own thing, or helping you put a shoe in the corporate world, or getting into the academic world, which is what we've been doing this past month, because registration was going on, and we were helping them literally with getting registered in schools, because we went through this process and we more or less know about this process, so we are helping them. Brian did the very same thing just now when he was like, um I'm going to share the link so that you know how to navigate through what I've been through. So yeah, if you want to contact Bragg, you can email us at bragg. I I forgot to brag info dot 2020, or if it's brag 2020 dot info. LeBlanc, I'll send you the email, and then you're to everybody who's here, or you guys, I don't know if you guys got a pen. You guys, my, and then here comes my number. That was a drum roll. 074 769 1252. For those that missed it, 074 769 and then we can take it from there.
Okay, thank you so much. And one more question, the last question that I have for you. How would you like Women Tech Inspire help you as a woman founder? What would you need Women Tech Inspire to help you with as a woman founder?
Wow. Um, the website is brag2020.co.za. There you'll find all the details. All right. Women Tech Inspire. You could on the website to Women Tech Inspire could find our banking details, and 10 million would just do. Thank you. I'm joking. I'm joking. But I have a lot of women who are interested in IT. We could start there, We could start with and I know nothing about IT. So as a connection, and we could start there with building up these women. Also building a community, or I don't know if I should say partnering up with women tech, but yeah, there's workshops that we are gonna have. There's so much more that we are looking at having for the children and opening their doors. So I'm not really sure what Women Take Aspire really does. I haven't like really looked at it, so I wouldn't want to. Not that I wouldn't. I don't have exactly what I want, but yeah, we could start at and how we can help the women who want to study IT. How they can go forward with. For now, my I'm the 10 million.
All right, thank you so much, Blandine. Time is not on our side. So thank you